I'm going to make a prediction about what happens to Sigma males in 2026 that's going to sound insane right now. But if you understand the current trajectory of society, technology, and masculine culture, you'll see this isn't speculation. It's inevitable. And it's going to change everything about how Sigma males operate in the world. Based on observable trends in technology, economics, social dynamics, and cultural shifts, I can predict with reasonable confidence what the landscape will look like for Sigma males in 2026. Some of these predictions will sound positive, others will sound dystopian, but all of them are based on trends that are already in motion right now. This isn't science fiction. This is pattern recognition. And if I'm right about even half of these predictions, the next 2 years are going to fundamentally change what it means to operate as a Sigma male in modern society. I've got something exclusive for you. Sigma's Black Book of Untouchable Power. This isn't feel-good motivation. It's the kind of insider mindset and strategy that builds men other people don't challenge, don't question, and don't underestimate. This guide won't stay up forever. Certain people would rather you never read it. Get your copy in the description or the pinned comment while it's still available. Let's break down what's coming. Prediction 1. AI will make Sigma males economically dominant. Here's the shocking part. While Sigma males are struggling in the current social-dominated economy, the AI revolution is about to flip that dynamic completely. Right now, economic success requires networking, self-promotion, and social visibility. Sigma males hate this and struggle with it. But AI is rapidly eliminating the need for those skills. By 2026, AI tools will handle most of the social, promotional, and networking aspects of business. You'll have AI managing your social media presence, AI handling client communications, AI doing the networking and relationship maintenance that currently requires human social skills. This means pure competence becomes the differentiator again. If an AI can handle the social performance, then the person who produces the best actual work wins. And that's the Sigma male's natural advantage. A Sigma who's excellent at strategy, analysis, or creative problem solving will be able to use AI to handle all the extroverted business activities they hate. They can work alone, produce exceptional results, and let AI manage the social interface with clients and markets. Meanwhile, people who built their careers on social skills and networking will find those skills becoming obsolete. If AI can do relationship management better than humans, and probably will by 2026, then what value do pure networkers provide? We're looking at a massive economic rebalancing. The social butterflies who dominated the 2010s and early 2020s are going to struggle. The competent introverts who struggled during that era are going to thrive. By 2026, I predict we'll start seeing Sigma males dominating in fields where AI has eliminated the social performance requirements. Solo entrepreneurs using AI to scale businesses that would have required large teams. Independent consultants using AI to manage client relationships they previously couldn't handle. Creative professionals using AI to handle all the promotion and networking they previously had to do themselves. The economic playing field is about to tilt dramatically in favor of the personality type that combines high competence with low social needs. That's Sigma males. Prediction 2. A massive cultural backlash against constant connectivity. This prediction is more social than economic, but it's equally significant. We're already seeing the early signs. People talking about digital minimalism, phone addiction, the mental health crisis caused by social media. These aren't fringe conversations anymore. They're mainstream. By 2026, I predict we'll see a full cultural swing away from constant connectivity. Not universally, but among a significant portion of the population who recognize that smartphones and social media are destroying their mental health, relationships, and ability to think clearly. This will create two distinct social classes: the constantly connected majority, who can't imagine life without their phones, and a growing minority who've deliberately disconnected and rebuilt their lives around genuine presence and solitude. Guess which group Sigma males will dominate? The disconnected minority will become the new status symbol. Having the discipline to stay off social media, the independence to not need constant connection, the confidence to be unreachable, these will flip from being seen as antisocial to being seen as high status. By 2026, the person who can go a week without checking their phone will be more impressive than the person with 1 million Instagram followers. The person who maintains genuine privacy will be more intriguing than the person who shares everything publicly. Sigma traits that were liabilities in the 2000s, privacy, selective availability, limited social media presence, will become advantages in the mid-2020s as culture shifts toward valuing disconnection. We'll see wellness movements, digital detox camps, and entire communities built around reduced connectivity. And the people who are naturally comfortable with that lifestyle, Sigma males, will be at the center of this cultural shift rather than on the margins. Prediction 3. Remote work will create Sigma male-dominated communities. The remote work revolution didn't end when companies tried to force people back to offices. It's still happening, just more quietly and selectively. By 2026, we'll have entire communities designed specifically for remote workers who want to escape traditional urban environments. Small towns and rural areas that have invested in infrastructure to attract digital nomads and remote professionals. These communities will be Sigma male paradise. Low population density, minimal social obligations, strong infrastructure for independent work, and a culture built around respecting privacy and independence. I predict we'll see specific geographic clusters emerge. Towns in Montana, Idaho, rural areas of the Southwest, small communities in New England, places that combine natural beauty, low cost of living, excellent internet infrastructure, and a culture that values independence over constant sociability. These areas will attract disproportionate numbers of Sigma males because they offer what cities can't: space, solitude, independence, and the ability to work remotely while living in environments that actually suit their temperament. By 2026, there will be recognizable Sigma male hubs, places where you can live independently, work competently, and not be forced into constant social performance. And these communities will start developing their own cultures, economies, and social structures based on Sigma values rather than extroverted urban values. This geographic sorting will accelerate. Urban areas will become even more socially intense and conformist. Rural areas that embrace remote work will become havens for independent personalities. The country will physically separate along personality lines in ways we haven't seen before. Prediction 4. Dating dynamics will shift dramatically against alpha males. This is the controversial one, but I stand by it. Women are getting exhausted by alpha male behavior. The constant need for validation, the performative masculinity, the emotional unavailability masked as confidence, the inability to be genuine. Dating app culture has amplified all the worst aspects of alpha behavior, and women are burning out on it. By 2026, I predict we'll see a significant cultural shift where the qualities that made alpha males attractive, social dominance, visible confidence, aggressive pursuit, start being viewed more negatively, especially by women in their late 20s and beyond, who've been through enough disappointing relationships to recognize that flashy presentation doesn't equal substance. Meanwhile, the qualities that define Sigma males, genuine confidence without performance, emotional stability without neediness, competence without ego, will become increasingly attractive. This won't happen through dating apps. Apps will still favor alphas because that's how the algorithm works. But as more people recognize that app-based dating produces terrible outcomes, we'll see a return to meeting people through shared activities, communities, and genuine connection. And in those contexts, Sigma males have always had an advantage. Their calm presence, genuine capability, and lack of desperate energy make them attractive when women can actually experience those qualities rather than just swiping on photos. By 2026, I think we'll start seeing articles about why women are increasingly drawn to quiet confidence types and away from traditionally alpha men. The culture will catch up to what individual women have already figured out, that the most attractive men are often the ones who aren't trying to be attractive. This will create tension. Alpha males who built their identities around dating success will struggle as their strategies stop working as effectively. Sigma males who struggled with dating apps will find more success as social contexts shift back toward in-person connection. Prediction 5. Mental health crisis will validate Sigma approaches. The mental health crisis, especially among young people, is going to get worse before it gets better. By 2026, the data will be undeniable that constant connectivity, social media, urban living, and performance-based identity are literally making people sick. When this becomes impossible to ignore, we'll see major cultural institutions, medical organizations, mental health professionals, even governments, start recommending lifestyle changes that align with natural Sigma behaviors. Recommendations will include reducing social media use, spending more time in solitude, developing independent hobbies, limiting urban exposure, building genuine competence rather than performing confidence. Basically, prescribing Sigma male lifestyle as treatment for mental health problems caused by modern society. This will be a massive cultural validation. The behaviors that got Sigma males labeled as antisocial, weird, or concerning will be reframed as mentally healthy responses to an unhealthy environment. By 2026, I predict we'll see wellness influencers promoting what they'll call intentional independence or authentic solitude, or some other rebranded version of how Sigma males naturally operate. The same people who spent the 2010s promoting constant connection and social performance will pivot to promoting selective disconnection and independent living. This won't change Sigma males themselves. They were already doing these things. But it will change how society views them. From outsiders to trendsetters, from antisocial to mentally healthy, from weird to wise. The validation won't matter to most Sigma males personally, but it will make their lives easier when the broader culture stops viewing their natural behaviors as problematic. Prediction 6. Traditional masculinity will fragment into incompatible tribes. By 2026, we won't talk about masculinity as a single concept anymore. The cultural conversation will recognize that there are fundamentally different masculine archetypes that can't be reconciled into one definition. Alpha masculinity will have its advocates and its community. Beta masculinity will be accepted in certain contexts. And Sigma masculinity will finally be recognized as its own legitimate category, rather than being forced into alpha or beta frameworks. This tribalization will create distinct masculine communities online and offline. Alpha males will cluster in their spaces, promoting their values and approaches. Sigma males will cluster in theirs, promoting completely different values and approaches. And these tribes will stop trying to convince each other that their way is the right way. This is actually healthier than the current situation where everyone argues about the correct way to be a man. By 2026, the conversation will shift to recognizing that different masculine expressions work for different people, and that's fine. For Sigma males, this means less pressure to conform to alpha standards, less judgment for not being socially dominant, less confusion about why their approach works for them even though it doesn't match the mainstream masculine narrative. You'll see Sigma-specific content, communities, and resources that aren't trying to be universal masculine advice. They'll explicitly say, this is for men who operate this way, not for everyone. And that specificity will make the content much more valuable. By 2026, a young man who recognizes Sigma traits in himself will be able to find resources designed for his specific personality type, rather than trying to adapt generic masculine advice that was written for alpha males. Prediction 7. The rise of Sigma male influencers who aren't performing. This might seem contradictory, Sigma males becoming influencers, but hear me out. By 2026, there will be a new category of content creators who are successful precisely because they're not performing. They're just documenting their actual lives, sharing genuine thoughts, and building audiences through authenticity rather than algorithm manipulation. These won't be traditional influencers who are constantly engaging, responding, creating drama, chasing trends. They'll be people who post sporadically when they have something worth saying, who maintain clear boundaries with their audience, who don't participate in social media drama. And counterintuitively, this approach will become more successful as people get exhausted by performative content. Audiences are starting to crave authenticity, even if that authenticity means less frequent content and less parasocial connection. We're already seeing early versions of this. Content creators who post once a week or less, but have deeply engaged audiences. People who maintain privacy, but share selectively. Individuals who've built influence without building a traditional personal brand. By 2026, this will be a recognized category. The anti-influencer influencer. The person who's influential precisely because they're not trying to be influential. And this space will be dominated by Sigma males because it matches how they naturally operate. This creates an interesting paradox. Sigma males who want nothing to do with attention will accidentally build attention through their genuine disinterest in attention. Their authenticity will be magnetic in a sea of performance. Not all predictions are positive. Here's the concerning one. As Sigma males become more economically successful, more culturally visible, and more explicitly organized into their own communities and tribes, they'll also become targets for systems that require conformity. By 2026, I predict we'll see increased pressure on Sigma types from institutions that can't tolerate independent thinking. Governments that want to monitor and control populations will view privacy-focused, independent individuals as threats. Corporate systems that require loyalty and conformity will view Sigma employees as problems to be managed or eliminated. We might see policies specifically targeting behaviors associated with Sigma males. Requirements for social media presence in certain professions, mandatory networking for career advancement, penalties for being difficult to reach or not collaborative enough, psychological evaluations that pathologize independence. The more visible and successful Sigma males become, the more threatening they are to systems built on conformity and control. And those systems will push back. By 2026, Sigma males will have to be more strategic about how they protect their independence, more careful about what they share, where they work, how they interact with systems designed to force conformity. This won't be universal. There will still be spaces where independence is valued. But the tension between Sigma individuals and conformity requiring systems will increase noticeably by 2026. If you're a Sigma male reading this in 2024, these predictions suggest you need to start positioning yourself now for the opportunities and challenges coming in 2026. Develop skills that will be valuable when AI handles social performance. Build expertise in areas where genuine competence matters more than networking. Position yourself to take advantage of the economic shift toward independent contractors and AI-enabled solo operations. Consider geographic relocation to areas that will become Sigma male hubs. Start researching remote work, friendly communities in low-density areas. Get ahead of the migration that's coming. Reduce your dependence on platforms and systems that require constant performance or conformity. Build direct relationships, create owned platforms, develop income streams that don't depend on algorithmic approval. Connect with other authentic Sigma males while you can. As these communities and tribes form explicitly, early membership will matter. Find your people before everyone's looking for them, and prepare for both the opportunities and the resistance. The next 2 years will create more space for Sigma males to thrive, but also more pressure on them to conform. Navigate accordingly. These predictions aren't inevitable. Trends can shift. Society can change direction. Black swan events can disrupt everything. But based on observable patterns right now, this is where we're headed by 2026. An environment that's simultaneously more favorable and more hostile to Sigma males than anything we've seen before. More favorable because technology and culture are creating space for independence and genuine competence to thrive. More hostile because systems that require conformity will push back against independent individuals more aggressively. The Sigma males who recognize these trends early and position themselves accordingly will dominate their domains by 2026. The ones who don't pay attention will wonder why the world suddenly doesn't make sense anymore. Time will tell if I'm right. But I'd bet on most of these predictions coming true within the next 2 years. Watch and see. If you think I'm right about these predictions, drop a comment with the word 2026 and tell me which prediction you think will have the biggest impact. And if you think I'm completely wrong, comment anyway and tell me what you think will actually happen. I want to revisit this in 2 years and see how accurate these predictions were. Hit that subscribe button if you want to follow along, as these predictions either come true or fall apart. Either way, it's going to be interesting to watch. Until next time, position yourself for the future that's coming, not the one that's already here.